Dominic, remind us which parties are showing up in Geneva and what the expectations are.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. These are the first high-level, face-to-face talks since Israel's attack on Iran began a week ago. And it is France, Germany and Britain meeting with Iran. So the foreign ministers of those European countries meeting with Abbas Araghchi, the Iranian foreign minister. And arguably the most important member of that European trio is David Lammy, Britain's foreign secretary, because he's coming fresh from talks in Washington, D.C. With his American counterpart, Marco Rubio, and Stephen Witkoff, who is America's chief negotiator, Donald Trump's former golfing buddy turned chief negotiator, who has been in touch, we understand, with Abbas Araghchi even while the current hostilities have been underway. We're told the meeting between Lammy and Rubio and Witkoff in Washington was good, and sources tell me that the Americans expressed a preference for a diplomatic solution, but stressed that any military solution still remains firmly on the table. And I'm told that David Lammy is coming here to Geneva with a message from the Americans for the Iranians. And obviously, how the Iranians respond to that message will be absolutely crucial. In a sense, Abbas Araghchi, the Iranian foreign minister, will be negotiating or talking to his counterparts here with a gun held to his head and with the clock ticking, because Donald Trump has said he will reserve the rights to carry out some kind of military action or join in with the Israelis within 2 weeks if he decides he needs to. And obviously, if diplomacy fails, he may feel he has no choice but to do so. And that gun is just getting bigger, because each day that passes, more and more American assets are moving to the Middle East and could be used against Iran. But against that, of course, Araghchi knows that this is a man about whom the acronym has been coined, Trump always chickens out. And he'll be wondering how much of that threat is a real threat. Will Donald Trump actually do anything? Because, of course, civil war is breaking out in the MAGA base in America, the Republican Party and others, amongst those who say he should act and help the Israelis, and others saying, no, this is the president who promised that America would end its forever far away wars. So all those calculations going on in the Iranians' minds, and a huge amount at stake if they make the wrong decision. And if they do not buckle to this demand to agree to some kind of system where they would give up the right to enrich uranium, that would guarantee that their nuclear program could be verifiably guaranteed as purely civilian. If they don't make those steps, then American military action could be inevitable. And of course, the Israelis are saying, well, if they're not prepared to make those concessions, even while and after a week of devastating military action has happened to them, they clearly do want to continue to build and make efforts towards building a nuclear bomb. They can't be trusted. So the Israelis are going to carry on. The threat of military action remains very much real. And I think the only chance, really, of things not escalating further and spiralling out of control is the diplomatic process underway. Although I think, hopes at this stage aren't that high for success.